I had to read it twice before the words made sense. But I was standing there in my wedding dress, holding a bouquet of peonies that suddenly felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds. The lawyer's face had gone pale when she realized what she'd said. She'd called me Patricia. My fiancé's ex-wife's name. But let me back up, because the morning had started so differently. Let me tell you about how I got here, standing in the bridal suite of the Rosewood estate, my entire future crumbling around me like tissue paper in the rain. 347 days ago, Michael proposed to me on a sunset cruise in Charleston Harbor. I'd known him for 2 years by then. Met him at a design conference where his company was looking for a rebrand. I was 32, finally established in my career as a graphic designer. He was 44, divorced for 6 years, with a teenage daughter named Zoe. I should have seen the signs earlier. But when you're in love, you convince yourself that red flags are just pink flags. Or maybe not flags at all. Just quirks. The first quirk was how Patricia, his ex-wife, still had a key to his house. It's for Zoe, he'd explained. In case she needs to pick something up when I'm not home. Made sense. Co-parenting is complicated. The second quirk was how Michael never wanted to discuss finances. You're an artist, he'd say, kissing my forehead. You shouldn't have to worry about boring numbers. That's my job. It felt romantic at the time. He made good money running a commercial real estate firm. I made decent money, but nothing like his 6 figures. The third quirk was how Zoe looked at me. Not with teenage rebellion or jealousy. With something closer to pity. I'd catch her watching me sometimes, and she'd quickly look away, like she knew something I didn't. But I loved him. Michael was charming, successful, and after my string of failed relationships with guys who couldn't commit, here was someone who wanted to build a life with me. Someone who talked about our future like it was a done deal. The wedding planning was a dream. Until it wasn't. 2 weeks before the wedding, Michael came home with Chinese takeout and a manila envelope. We sat at my kitchen table, the apartment I'd lived in for 4 years, the one I was about to give up to move into his house. Our house, he kept correcting me. My lawyer drew this up, he said, sliding the envelope toward me. It's just a prenup. Standard stuff. My chopstick stopped halfway to my mouth. A prenup? Michael, we never discussed this. I know. He ran his hand through his salt and pepper hair, the gesture I usually found endearing. But my lawyer insisted. After the divorce with Patricia, he won't let me get married without one. 2 weeks before the wedding? I'm sorry, Em. I kept putting it off because I knew you'd be upset. But it's really just formality. It protects both of us. I opened the envelope. 23 pages of legal jargon. I'd taken 1 business law class in college. This might as well have been written in ancient Greek. Michael, I need time to read this. Maybe have my own lawyer look at it. He reached across the table, taking my hand. Emma, I love you. This doesn't change anything between us. And honestly, we've already sent out 200 invitations. Everyone's booked their hotels. Your parents flew in from Seattle. The pressure was implicit but heavy. Sign this or be the woman who called off her wedding 2 weeks out, disappointing everyone, looking like you got cold feet. I signed it. I didn't even read the whole thing. I just flipped to the last page and signed my name in blue ink while Michael watched, relief flooding his face. Thank you, he said, kissing me. This means everything to me. I promise, Emma, I'm going to make you so happy. The rehearsal dinner was last night. Patricia was there because Zoe was in the wedding party. Michael's mother was there, of course. She'd never warmed to me, but I'd convinced myself that was normal. Some mothers-in-law just need time. We were at La Mer, this expensive restaurant overlooking the harbor. Everyone was laughing, toasting, telling embarrassing stories about Michael. I was seated between my maid of honor, Cara, and Michael's business partner, Tom. Patricia sat at the opposite end of the table. She looked beautiful, damn her. 43, but could pass for 35. Blonde hair perfectly highlighted. That's when I noticed her and Michael's mother exchange a look. Just a brief glance, but it carried weight. And then I saw Patricia smile. Not a friendly smile. A satisfied smile. I excused myself to use the restroom. As I was washing my hands, I heard the door open. Patricia walked in. Emma, she said, her voice perfectly pleasant. I just wanted to say, no hard feelings. Really? No hard feelings about what? She checked her lipstick in the mirror. About the divorce. About you marrying Michael. I know some ex-wives would be bitter, but but honestly? She turned to face me. I'm relieved. Something about the way she said it made my stomach drop. Relieved? Oh, you know. Marriage to Michael is complicated. But you'll figure that out. She smiled again and left. I stood there, staring at my reflection. My hands were shaking. Kara found me 10 minutes later. Hey, you okay? You look pale. Did you read the prenup I signed? She froze. What prenup? Michael had me sign one 2 weeks ago. Emma, why didn't you tell me? I would have gone with you to a lawyer. My cousin's a family attorney, she would have reviewed it for free. It was so last minute, and I trusted him. Kara pulled out her phone. Do you have a copy? I did. Michael had emailed me a PDF. I pulled it up on my phone with trembling fingers, and Kara and I crowded into a bathroom stall, scrolling through legal language. It took us 20 minutes to find it. Section 14, subsection C. In the event of divorce or legal separation, Emma Claire Thompson forfeits all claims to property, assets, and wealth acquired during the marriage, including but not limited to real estate, business interests, and investment portfolios. Said assets shall revert to Michael James Harrison or his designated heirs. What the hell? Kara whispered. Emma, this means if you get divorced, you get nothing. Not even half of what you earned during the marriage. But that's not legal, is it? I don't know. That's why you need a lawyer. She looked at me. Emma, what are you going to do? What could I do? Cancel the wedding? Stand up at the rehearsal dinner and accuse my fiancé of what? Having a prenup? Lots of people had prenups, but this wasn't protection. This was a trap. I went back to the table. I smiled. I laughed at the toasts. I pretended everything was fine. This morning, I woke up at 6. Couldn't sleep. The wedding was at 4 o'clock. I had a hair appointment at 9, makeup at 11, photos at 2. I called Kara. Can you get me your cousin's number? The lawyer? Emma, it's Saturday. And it's your wedding day. I know. Please. She texted me the number. I called. It went to voicemail. Of course it did. The hair salon was a blur. 3 bridesmaids, my mother, Michael's mother, all chattering around me while someone pinned flowers into my updo. I kept checking my phone. At 10:47, the lawyer called back. Jennifer Park, Kara's cousin. I'm so sorry to bother you, I said, stepping outside the salon. But I signed a prenup 2 weeks ago, and I just realized. Okay, slow down, Jennifer said. I could hear a kid screaming in the background. You signed 2 weeks before your wedding? Yes. And you didn't have independent legal counsel? No. He said it was just standard. Emma, this is a Saturday morning, and I'm at my daughter's soccer game, but I need you to send me that prenup right now. What time is your wedding? 4 o'clock. Send it now. I'll call you back in 30 minutes. I sent it. Went back inside. Let someone paint my face while my heart hammered against my ribs. Jennifer called back at 11:23. Emma, you need to not marry this man. Everything in me went cold. What? This prenup is unconscionable. It's so one-sided that a judge would likely throw it out, but that would require you to hire a lawyer and fight it, which could take years and tens of thousands of dollars. This is clearly designed to intimidate you into never seeking divorce, no matter how bad the marriage gets. But why would he? I don't know. But there's something else. I did a quick property search. The house he owns? The one you're moving into? It's not in his name. What do you mean? It's in a trust. And the beneficiary is Zoe Harrison. His daughter. Emma, if you move into that house and then get divorced, you're not just losing claim to it. You'd be living in his 16-year-old daughter's house. She'd technically be your landlord. I thought I might throw up. There's more. His business? Harrison Commercial Properties. I pulled the incorporation documents. Patricia Harrison is listed as a 20% partner. His ex-wife owns part of his business? Not just owns. She never signed over her shares in the divorce. They're still technically business partners. Everything was starting to make sense. The looks. Patricia's smile. His mother's coldness. What do I do? I whispered. That's up to you. But Emma, if you marry him today, you're walking into a situation where you have no legal protection, no financial claim to anything, and you're surrounded by people who clearly planned this together. I thanked her. Hung up. Stared at myself in the mirror. My mother touched my shoulder. Sweetheart, are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I need to talk to Michael. It's bad luck to see the groom before the ceremony. I almost laughed. Bad luck. Right. I called him. It rang 4 times before he picked up. Hey, beautiful, he said. Few more hours, and you'll be Mrs. Harrison. Michael, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. A pause. Okay. Why is Patricia still a partner in your business? Another pause, longer. Who told you that? It doesn't matter. Why didn't you tell me? Emma, it's complicated. The divorce. Why is your house in Zoe's name? Silence. Michael. Look, it's for tax purposes. My accountant suggested. And the prenup. The clause that says I get nothing if we divorce. Nothing I earn during our marriage is even mine? Emma, you're overreacting. These are just legal protections. For who? Because it's not for me. We can talk about this after the wedding. You're stressed, you're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking very clearly right now. Did you and Patricia plan this together? That's insane. Is it? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you wanted a new wife without actually giving up anything from your old marriage. And if it doesn't work out, I leave with nothing while you keep everything, including property I help pay for. Emma, I love you. Do you? Or do you just love the idea of not being alone, having someone to play house with, while making sure that someone has no actual claim to your life? He started to respond, but I heard something in the background. A woman's voice. A very familiar voice. Michael, is someone there with you? It's just my mother. But it wasn't his mother's voice. I knew exactly who it was. Let me talk to her, I said. Emma. Put Patricia on the phone. A muffled sound, like he'd covered the receiver. Then Patricia's voice, calm and clear. Hello, Emma. You're with him right now? The morning of our wedding? He called me. He was upset. I came to help him get ready. We were married for 15 years, Emma. We have a child together. Of course I'm here for him. The audacity. The absolute audacity. Did you plan this whole thing? The prenup, the property transfers? She laughed. A soft, pitying laugh. Emma, you're a sweet girl. But you're not exactly in our economic bracket. Michael was always going to protect his assets. I helped him learn that lesson the hard way. So this was revenge? On me? Not revenge. Education. You'll understand when you're older. I was 32. She was 43. 11 years was not a generation gap. Put Michael back on. He doesn't want to talk right now. He's very disappointed in you. Getting cold feet, making accusations. It's very immature, Emma. She hung up. I stood there, phone in my hand, in a wedding dress that cost $3,000, in a bridal suite at a venue we'd paid $15,000 to rent. 200 guests were arriving in 4 hours. My mother was watching me with growing concern. Emma, what's happening? I opened my mouth to explain, and that's when someone knocked on the door. Michael's mother walked in. Not Michael. His mother. Emma, dear, Michael told me you're having some concerns. I want you to know that every bride gets nervous. It's perfectly natural. Where's Michael? He's getting ready, of course. He was with Patricia. She didn't even flinch. Patricia is family, Emma. She's the mother of his child. You'll need to accept that if this marriage is going to work. If? My voice came out sharper than I intended. Sounds like you don't think it will work. Well, dear, you're not exactly prepared for the responsibilities of being Michael's wife. The prenup ensures that if things don't work out, there's a clean separation. When? She said when. You planned this, I said slowly. All of you. You, Patricia, Michael. This whole thing was set up so that I move into your son's life with nothing, contribute to his household, and if it fails, I leave with nothing. She smiled. The same satisfied smile Patricia had at dinner. Michael deserves to protect himself. After what Patricia put him through in the divorce, Patricia still owns 20% of his business. She didn't put him through anything. They're still financially entangled. Her smile faltered. Who told you that? It's public record. She straightened her suit jacket. Emma, I think you should take some time to calm down. You're being emotional. The wedding starts in a few hours, and everyone is counting on you to get out. Excuse me? Get out of this room. Now. She opened her mouth to argue, but my mother stepped forward. My mother, who'd been quiet this whole time. Who'd flown across the country for this wedding, who'd helped me pick out centerpieces and taste cakes. You heard my daughter, my mother said, her voice steel. Leave. Michael's mother left, but not before shooting me a look that said everything. You're making a mistake. You'll regret this. You're not good enough for my son anyway. My mother locked the door behind her. Mom, I started, but she held up a hand. Emma, I love you. And I will support whatever decision you make. But I need to know right now, are you marrying this man? I looked at myself in the mirror. Hair perfect. Makeup perfect. Dress perfect. Everything was perfect except the marriage itself. No, I said. I'm not. The next hour was chaos. Kara called the venue coordinator. My mother called my father. I called Jennifer Park back and asked her what my legal options were. If you don't marry him, the prenup is void, she said. But Emma, if you've spent money on this wedding, you might be able to sue for damages. Did he contribute anything financially? He said he'd pay for the catering. $12,000. Did he pay it? I checked my email. Found the contract. The caterer had been emailed 2 weeks ago, asking to postpone payment until after the wedding. He'd never paid. No, I said. He didn't. Then he committed fraud. You entered into a contract with a caterer based on his promise to pay, and he reneged. That's actionable. I almost laughed. Here I was, in a wedding dress, learning about contract law. At 3 o'clock, 1 hour before the ceremony, I walked down to the groom's suite. Still in my wedding dress because why not? I'd paid for it. I knocked. Michael opened the door, already in his tuxedo. His face fell when he saw my expression. Emma, thank God. I thought you'd. There's not going to be a wedding, I said. What? Emma. You can't be serious. I talked to a lawyer. I know about the house being in Zoe's name. I know Patricia still owns part of your business. I know you never paid the caterer. And I know that prenup you had me sign would be thrown out by any judge as unconscionable. His face went through several emotions. Surprise, fear, anger, and finally, resignation. So what, you're just going to walk away? Embarrass me in front of everyone? You embarrassed yourself, Michael. You and Patricia and your mother thought you could trap me in a marriage where I had no rights, no claim to anything, no protection. Why would you do that? He looked away. You don't understand how messy divorce is. Then don't get married. If you're so traumatized by your first marriage that you need to financially abuse your second wife, maybe you shouldn't be getting married at all. It wasn't abuse, it was protection. For you. Only for you. He ran his hand through his hair again, but this time it just looked pathetic. What do you want me to do, Emma? Go out there and tell 200 people the wedding is off? I already did, I said. Venue coordinator made an announcement 10 minutes ago. Most people are already leaving. His face went pale. You what? I also called the local courthouse. Filed for return of gifts given under false pretenses. That's the legal term for promising to marry someone and then defrauding them. You're suing me? For the catering you promised to pay for and didn't. $12,000 plus emotional distress. Jennifer thinks we can get $20,000, minimum. This is insane. No, Michael. This is me finally seeing clearly. I turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and Patricia? She's in the women's lounge. Been there for the last hour. Thought you might want to know. I didn't wait for his response. I walked back to the bridal suite, took off the wedding dress, and put on the jeans and sweater I'd brought for the honeymoon departure. My mother had already packed up all my things. Ready? She asked. Ready. We drove to Kara's house. I stayed there for 3 days, eating ice cream and watching terrible movies and trying not to think about what my life almost became. On day 4, Jennifer called. Emma, you need to hear this. What? Michael's lawyer reached out. They want to settle. Settle what? I just wanted the catering money. They're offering you $50,000 to sign an NDA and drop any claims. I sat up. 50,000? Which means, Jennifer said slowly, that there's something he really doesn't want you to talk about. Something worth paying $50,000 to keep quiet. I thought about Patricia's smile. His mother's certainty. The prenup designed to trap me. What if I say no? Then we go to court, and discovery happens. Which means I get to subpoena all his financial records, all communications between him and Patricia, everything. And Emma, I don't think he wants that. Because? Because I did some more digging. Patricia's 20% stake in his business? She bought it 5 years ago. 3 years after their divorce. And the price she paid was significantly below market value. They're still together, I said, the realization hitting me. They're still together, aren't they? I can't prove that. But I can prove that they have active financial entanglements that suggest ongoing partnership. And if you'd married him while he was financially and possibly romantically involved with Patricia, that's grounds for annulment based on fraud. Which means the prenup would definitely be void. I thought about Zoe's pitying looks. About being called Patricia at my own wedding rehearsal. Take the $50,000, I said. You sure? Take it, make them pay the full catering bill too. And I want a clause that if Michael gets married again in the next 5 years, I get an additional $25,000. Jennifer laughed. Emma, you're learning. I had good teachers. Just wish the lesson had cost less. The settlement took 2 weeks. Michael paid. Patricia was furious, according to Kara, who'd heard through the small-town gossip network. His mother sent me one email, "You'll never find someone as good as my son." I didn't respond. But I did forward it to Jennifer, who said it might be considered harassment. They went quiet after that. I moved back to Seattle, closer to my parents. Kept my design business running remote. Started therapy to process everything. 6 months later, Kara called. You need to see this. She sent me a screenshot from Facebook. Michael and Patricia, together at some charity event. His arm around her waist. The caption said reunion with a heart emoji. They'd never stopped being together. The whole thing, the wedding, the prenup, had been. What? A game? A way to have his cake and eat it too? I still don't fully understand the psychology. But I understand that I got out. That's what matters. A year later, I met someone new. David. He's a middle school teacher, makes a fraction of what Michael made, and on our 3rd date, he told me his salary, his debt, and offered to show me his credit score because finances should be transparent in relationships. I cried. Happy tears. We're taking it slow. No rushing. No pressure. And I hired Jennifer to review any legal documents that come my way, just in case. She gives me a friendship discount. Sometimes people ask me if I regret calling off the wedding so late. If I wish I'd figured it out earlier. Honestly? I'm grateful I figured it out at all. Because I almost didn't. I almost walked down that aisle, said those vows, and locked myself into a life designed to keep me powerless. But I was holding that bouquet of peonies when the truth finally broke through, and I dropped them. Just let them fall to the floor. And then I walked away. I chose myself. I chose truth over performance, reality over fantasy, freedom over security that was really just a prettier cage. Was I happy that day? No. I was devastated. Am I happy now? Getting there. And that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything.